PM Modi in Cyprus. India's power move signals growing strategic encirclement of Turkey. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's landmark visit to Cyprus, where he will be meeting President Nikos Christodoulides, is not a routine diplomatic tour. It marks India's evolving strategic response to Turkey's hostility. This is only the third visit by an Indian Prime Minister to Cyprus, with Indira Gandhi's 1983 visit and Atal Bihari Vajpayee in 2002, and comes at a time when India is displeased with Turkey's diplomatic and seemingly overt military support for Pakistan since the Pahalgam attack and Operation Sindoor. Turkey has not only been increasingly vocal in international forums against India, particularly on Kashmir, but has also deepened its military and diplomatic ties with Pakistan. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has repeatedly tried to position himself as a leader of the Islamic world, often challenging India's positions at the United Nations. In return, India has begun quietly encircling Turkey, tightening ties with the country's regional rivals, including Greece, Armenia, Egypt, and now Cyprus, which is a long-standing regional adversary in the eastern Mediterranean. Modi's Cyprus trip is historic for several reasons. Not only is it a rare high-level Indian visit, but it also comes at a time when Cyprus is gaining importance as an entry point for India's plans in the India-Middle East-Europe corridor (IMEC), the proposed trade route connecting India with Europe via the Middle East. Cyprus is a member of the European Union, a partner in the Mediterranean, and a strong backer of India in global forums. This visit is expected to provide momentum to bilateral trade, cultural diplomacy, and possibly even defense collaboration. To understand why Turkey will be watching Modi's visit with displeasure, one must revisit the Cyprus-Turkey conflict, which has simmered since 1974, when Turkey invaded northern Cyprus in response to a Greek-backed coup aimed at unifying the island with Greece. Even after the legitimate Cypriot government was reinstated, Turkish forces did not withdraw and went on to occupy the northern third of the island. The result was a de facto partition of the island with a Greek Cypriot majority in Cyprus and Turkish Cypriots in the north. Today, the internationally recognized Republic of Cyprus controls the southern two-thirds of the island, while the self-declared Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, recognized only by Turkey, controls the rest. A UN-patrolled buffer zone separates the two. Turkey continues to station thousands of troops in the north, refuses to recognize the Republic of Cyprus, and aggressively disputes its maritime borders. This division has far-reaching consequences, not least for gas exploration and energy exports from the region. Cyprus, sitting atop rich gas reserves, is unable to export gas freely due to Turkish obstructionism, especially in the eastern Mediterranean. Turkey has sent its own exploration vessels into disputed waters, clashing with Cyprus, Greece, and even EU regulations. Ankara argues that an island nation such as Cyprus does not deserve the full extent of exclusive economic zone (EEZ) rights enjoyed by mainland countries, even though international law disagrees. India's overt engagement with Cyprus is, thus, a direct nod to the struggle of Cyprus against Turkish aggression and strengthens the anti-Turkey bloc in the eastern Mediterranean. It is a move Turkey cannot ignore. Cyprus sits like a sentry at the eastern edge of the Mediterranean, south of Turkey, west of the Levant, and a heartbeat away from the Suez. Cyprus is a geographic sweet spot, straddling Europe, Asia, and Africa, making it a natural hub for trade, energy transit, and strategic influence in one of the world's most contested seas. Strategically, it holds potential as a future node in the IMEC corridor. With the East Med gas pipeline project stalled, Cyprus is actively exploring alternative routes to export its gas to Europe, including via Greece. Its 1,215 trillion cubic feet of proven natural gas reserves may be modest on a global scale, but they carry outsized strategic value for a small nation situated at the crossroads of three continents. Ranking third in the eastern Mediterranean gas race after Egypt and Israel, Cyprus has emerged as a key player in the region's evolving energy landscape. Its reserves form a critical part of potential supply routes to European markets, especially as the EU looks to diversify away from Russian gas. Exporting this gas via Greece or Egypt, while bypassing Turkey, would directly challenge Ankara's influence over Eastern Mediterranean energy geopolitics. This growing energy clout not only strengthens Cyprus' regional standing but also adds weight to India's strategic engagement with Nicosia, particularly within the framework of the IMEC. Turkey's obstruction of Cyprus and even Greece's maritime ambitions, combined with regional instability, has made countries like India valuable partners for Nicosia, not just diplomatically, but potentially for energy and infrastructure cooperation as well. Modi's visit could thus unlock new possibilities not just in diplomacy, but in energy security, digital corridors, maritime and defense cooperation. Cyprus has long been a staunch supporter of India. From backing India's nuclear tests in 1998, to supporting India's candidature at the UN Security Council, and standing with India during Indo-Pak crises, Cyprus has consistently taken pro-India positions. The country also backed India during its 2008 nuclear deal with the US, and supports India's entry into the Nuclear Suppliers Group (NSG). On issues of terrorism and Kashmir, it has refrained from siding with Pakistan or the OIC line, a sharp contrast to Turkey's vocal interventions. India, for its part, has always backed the territorial integrity of Cyprus and called for a resolution of the Cyprus problem under UNSC resolutions and international law. Modi's visit reaffirms this position while deepening the bilateral relationship further. Swipe left for next video. By visiting Cyprus, the Prime Minister is sending a carefully calibrated message not just to Ankara but the entire region. India will not stay silent in the face of Turkey's provocations, and it is willing to build durable, public partnerships with Turkey's rivals. This visit, coming on the heels of Modi's visit to Greece in 2023 and increasingly heavy-duty and impactful defense exports to Armenia, is part of a quiet but unmistakable strategic encirclement of Turkey, a diplomatic doctrine that maximizes India's leverage through coalitions and shared interests in Turkey's backyard. Latest blogs.